are you willing to wait at least 90 days before we have sex? And if they say yes, and then they get antsy after 7 days, red flag. You've got to realize your body is your temple. If someone enters that body and then disappears, it's a violation. If someone gives you attention, you've got to collect the data, remove the emotion, make an objective decision, yay, nay. Do that for your friends, do that for business partners. Never get into a business relationship with someone who's not integrous. Just don't do it. When you say no to X, you're saying yes to a brand new, beautiful, loving relationship. But you have to be strong. You have to have faith. You have to believe in yourself. You have to accept yourself. You have to love yourself. Do not be fearful. Just be yourself and he will appear without you having to look for him, because your vibrational energy will change and that will attract the right type of person in your life. Say no to a relationship until it becomes a yes. But most people say yes to a relationship until it doesn't work. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. Yeah, it's a big decision. And when you make the right decision, it's so much easier and so much more playful and fun and loving to be in that type of relationship, because it becomes effortless, frictionless, and it becomes so deep and authentic. It's not sex, it's love.
You really had a great career going. You were investing, you were successful. Tell me about that story about what happened to you in 2008.
Yeah, so obviously a lot of people suffered, and I was one of them. I lost everything on the stock market, real estate, on my investments, the house, the car. They were all about to go, and I remember having to tell my wife, and it was a very difficult time. And honestly, I contemplated suicide, and it was a difficult situation for me. You know, I remember being at an event and I was looking down, and it was like 18 feet down. And I thought, if I jumped, Anil, you know, you'd mess this up as well, and you'd end up, you know, paralyzed. And that's the worst thing you want to do. So I thought, Anil, you can't even do that right. So I was really beating myself up. And I, you know, went up to my bedroom. My wife was waiting for me and she said, what's wrong? I said, look, honey, I have some really bad news to tell you. And she said, what's going on? I said, you better sit down. Look, I've made some really bad mistakes, and, you know, we're going to lose the house, the car. We lost all our investments, everything. And it was a strange experience because I felt relieved because I've been hiding it from her, but I was confused at what happened next. She said, oh, and she smiled. And I said, this is serious. Don't you get this is serious? She said, honey, I knew something was wrong. You've been behaving very strangely. And I thought that it was something like cancer, that you were dying. And I'm glad that you don't have cancer. I don't care about the money. I was shocked because I thought, shocked. I never thought it. I said, honey, I was doing all this for you. She said, honey, I never asked for this. All I want is you. And, you know, we have the kids. We'll sleep in the streets if we have to. And I never thought I would get that response because I thought that's what she wanted. And this is a mistake that we make in life. We assume that people want X, Y, Z when they really want A, B, C. And it's as simple as asking them authentically, you know, what is it you want from me? And you'll be surprised. It's not that they want all of your time, but they want you to be present. The golden rule is just tell the truth, because your partner can be an amazing support for you. You don't know, but if they don't know, they're second guessing. They're thinking there's something wrong with them. And that causes friction and that fuels the situation. Just tell the truth. And there's one thing I did that made the difference, and that was to give. In the moment you give authentically, all the pain and suffering disappears. And when you feel better, that gives you hope and that gives you light, and the darkness seems to disappear. So whatever you're going through, just give right now, whatever it is, a smile, a thank you, but call a friend, you know, do something for others, give.
Yeah. Tell us more about what the process is and how we can get around doing the due diligence before we do the dating. I'm up for that because I've had some of those, you know me. I've had some of those relationships where I'm like, oh my God, you know, so I'd love to figure out what's the secret.
Okay. The secret is you being you and removing all the emotion, not falling in love, not making decisions, but collecting data. So you have to collect data. So for example, if you were to buy a house, you wouldn't just look at a house and buy it. No, you do your due diligence. You look at the exterior, you know, the location, the neighborhood, the schools, the hospitals, the motorways, the noise. Most people don't do that in relationships. They'll meet someone and they have a good time and they end up, doing something and they think, oh, great, I'm in a relationship. But they haven't curated it. It just happened. And this is one of the big problems. You have to do your due diligence, find out about them. Are they married? Are they single? Are they in a relationship? Do they have any emotional issues? Are they,
I remember you told me to do a background check, and I've done that since then. That
yeah.
was good.
And a background check, and then you collect the data. You ask, what was your worst relationship like? Are they still around, your previous partners? Do you
Oh,
have kids? Is it a toxic situation? Are they going to cause drama? The last thing you want is drama.
so we get through the due diligence and we go, okay, they check all the boxes. This guy seems to be pretty decent, or a woman, and that is the case may be. And so then what? Do I go out with him then?
Yeah. Then you go for a
How, by the way, how are
coffee.
we doing the due diligence? Like, say we met. Are you just not talking? You're not actually meeting in person?
Well, you can meet over Zoom, over the phone, and then, but keep away from restaurants, evening dates, things like that. Go for a walk. Go for a coffee, because a coffee, there's nothing at stake. You don't have to dress up. You can be you, because you want to see them as they really are. If someone gives you attention, it gives you a feeling that you've been deeply wanting, and you think, oh, this is love. And, you have an expectation that, there's going to be this big romantic thing. And then think you lock eyes and you think, oh, I connected with him. No, you didn't connect with him. You just locked eyes. You don't do that often. So there's not this, oh, love at first sight. No, please don't think there is. Maybe there is, but it just doesn't happen. You've got to collect the data, remove the emotion, make an objective decision. Yeah, remember one thing. This man will appear when you become yourself. It's a being, not a doing. Just be yourself and he will appear without you having to look for him, because your vibrational energy will change, and that will attract the right type of person in your life.
That's right. That's exactly what I've learned lately. I love that so much. I love that so much. And the big one for me is don't settle. Don't
Yeah.
settle. This is good enough. Or when people say, oh, but he's good for now. No, because what it was doing is energetically, I've had so many friends, people that I've known, clients that I had that were in relationship, or that had these, like, the booty calls, the sort of casual hookup people that they could always go back to, or maybe even a friend that was a guy friend that would be emotional support if they ever needed anything. Well, they're filling that, right? Tell me about that. What's that like? They're filling that spot, right? Because then there's not the ability for someone else to come in because that slot's taken.
Yeah.
When is it appropriate to have sex?
Okay. So, I would always give at least 90 days. And the thing is, if they're not willing to wait, what is their priority? Is it, the physicalness, or is it you? And ask them, look, are you willing to wait at least 90 days before we have sex? And if they say yes, and then they get antsy after 7 days, red flag. See, it's a data collection point. And you've got to realize your body, especially ladies, your body is your temple. It's a violation if someone enters that body and then disappears. It's a violation. And you get to choose who enters your temple, and, be very fussy,
Yeah.
because it's a big decision. And when you make the right decision, it's so much easier and so much more playful and fun and loving to be in that type of relationship, because it becomes effortless, frictionless, and it becomes so deep and authentic. It's not sex, it's love.
Well, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I think that's so interesting too, is that we've heard studies is that the women are naturally, we get attached and we get naturally connected and with our partner more than men do after that. And so it's a challenge. We've got to really be mindful. Like you said, our bodies are a temple. Wow. Okay. So we've met the friends, we've talked to the family. What do you think about, like, talking about our basic human needs, or our A lot of people are talking about things like our love languages. What about love languages? And how do we communicate with our partner and tell them what our love languages are? Do you believe in that idea? And then giving them a roadmap of how to love us? Is that
Yeah. So
good?
really, that's a great question. And really, it's just a matter of asking this question. So men want to be respected generally. Women want to be loved generally. So, gentlemen, ask your potential partner, what can I do to make you feel more loved? What else can I do? What else can I do? And go deeper. What can I do to make you feel more respected? What else can I do? What else can I do? And then women, ask your man that, the men ask the women that. And then just have deeper questions. What do you feel about, you know, there's two subjects I keep away from: religion and politics. But if someone's very political and someone's very religious, you need to address that. If we get married and we have kids, how are we going to bring up the kids? What are your thoughts on religion? What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on that? And they're important discussions, especially if you have a mixed religious relationship. You need to sort that out at the beginning, because you think, oh, love will conquer, but it doesn't. You don't want to be 5 years down the line and he's one religion and she's one religion and the parents are crazy and upset, and you don't want that. Have the big stuff handled at the beginning, because if you don't, it's going to be such a difficult situation later on. And communication is the key. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. But, when you ask these questions, do it from a place of love with pure intent, not, as you said, Jill, as an inquisition, but more of a curiosity and more with a plan to, it's something, it's a no until it's a yes. Most relationships
That
are
was
yes until it's a no. It's
that was what I was
crazy.
going to say. Your key line you always used to say is what most people say. It's a yes till it's a no. No, it's the other way around. Anil says it's a
Yeah.
no until it's a yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
it's such a powerful way to live a life, Say no to a relationship until it becomes a yes. But most people say yes to a relationship until it doesn't work. It's crazy.
Hard to break
Absolutely
it down.
crazy.
Yeah, because it's hard to unravel it then after that. Because
Yeah.
we naturally are designed to prove ourselves right. So if we're convinced that something is amazing, we've got to unravel to the point where we don't no longer believe it's amazing in order to just to see clearly. It's something could be incredibly ridiculous, and we're thinking it's so good for us, but it's not. And so because we have to buy into that being right, which is in our innate, it's innate in our our being, is that it's really tricky to do that,
Yeah.
because it really messes with our heads in our
Yeah.
psyche.
Yeah. And that you were talking about that recent relationship where the man was so nice in front of your friends, and your friends are thinking, oh my God, Jill, he's amazing. And then you're thinking, oh, maybe
Oh,
there's something wrong with me.
I
Maybe I should keep him, you know?
yeah, that
So,
was yeah.
yeah, it's such a painful experience, you know, and when you say no, you're allowing yourself to say yes to the right person in the right time.
Hell,
And
hell yeah.
yeah, yeah. And it'll be a hell yes, because you'll know, and it'll
Yeah.
be so much more easier and smoother and effortless, and you can be you. You can be
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And I think sometimes going through these situations is that they're not for nothing. And I want everyone watching and listening is that any painful experience or loss or breakup or abusive relationship, whatever you've been in, they become our best teachers. And nothing is by accident. And I'm grateful for the mistakes that those things, because it's almost helped me. Like, had I never gone through that, I probably wouldn't have had those darkest moments of feeling so much pain, that I had to figure out a way to connect closer with my higher being and with God, through that space of like, all right, if everything was fine, I mean, there's no need, but boy, we're in those moments. I always say the best country Western songs are written when someone's breaking up and they're like, my dog done left, whatever, all this stuff. Right. And those are the best country Western songs, is that we do our best work and we grow the most when we've experienced things like that. So we shouldn't look down upon our mistakes or our situations that don't work out.
Yeah.
Be grateful.
Honest. And we don't know what we don't know. So, for example, Jill, if you meet someone and he's the right guy and you're with him for the next 47 years, it's, the most important part of a race is not the start, it's the finish. How are you going to finish the rest of your life? Are you going to have this most amazing relationship, or are you not? Are you going to hold on to all the pain and suffering and not forgive? And, that's another big point, Jill, is about forgiveness. Forgiveness is the express pathway to freedom. The quality of your life is dependent on the depth and authenticity of the forgiveness you extend to yourself and to others. And it's such a big thing, because if you're not going to forgive, you're going to bring that into your next relationship and it's going to hurt. There's no rush. There's nowhere to get to. Work on yourself. And I promise you, things will change for you, to you. And that you get to lead this beautiful life every time. It always works. It always works. And believe in yourself, look in the mirror. And here's a little exercise. Okay. On a piece of paper, write down your name.
Okay.
And on the left-hand side, write down how much you love yourself out of 10. Okay. And on the right-hand side, write down how much other people love you. Is there a big difference?
If I would have answered this question maybe 6 months ago, the number would have probably been a 6. And today I think it's about an 8. And I would say people that know me, they love me, and it's a 10.
Yeah. And that's beautiful.
Close. But I was in a bad spot for a while there. So I would say I'm definitely higher up. I didn't want to go 10 because I know I feel like there's still some issues.
Yeah, we all do. I'm not a 10.
But I really feel good about that. Yeah.
Yeah. See,
but not
always.
If it was I can go back and say, what if it was a 6? I was a 6.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm a 2. But the thing is, don't live there. Ask yourself, what do I need to do? Do I need to give? Do I need to grow? Or do I need to be grateful? They're the 3 things you need to do to raise your score. Give, grow, or be grateful.
Okay.
So that's where awareness comes in. Awareness gives you clarity. Clarity gives you focus. Focus gives you action. And action gives you results, which gives you momentum, which gives you everything. You cannot be happy. You cannot be in love. You cannot be successful without awareness. So if you master the awareness, you can show up differently. You can be instead of do. And then you can have that self-confidence and say no to people without fear of doing the wrong thing or missing out. And then that allows someone to come into your life. And an awareness is an observation, not being emotional, not being attached, not being reactive.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So when I get triggered by something, instead of just letting it stack, is to say, first of all, check in. Is it me? Is it something that's coming up from the past? Yeah, it is. But maybe, it really bothers me when he says that, so, going to the partner and saying, hey, I know this isn't something that's you're doing intentionally, but when you say you're talking too much, it's a trigger from the past for me. And I just want you to be aware. Can you help me walk through this and heal from this? Because this is something that does trigger me. And that's like an observation. Whereas we go, oh, don't say anything. Don't want to rock the boat, which was a big one. People pleaser. Don't make any waves because you might tick them off. And then you let it stack and stack and stack. And all of a sudden just the top blows off and you go crazy. So it's really trying to deal with it in the moment and being so aware when there's that moment of, oh, something hit me. What happened? And I noticed it, and then dealing with it. Is that right?
Yeah. And that's where the awareness comes in. And it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So for example, somebody says something to me, I get triggered. Hey, and it's to my partner, hey, honey, could I ask you for some help, please? I just got triggered. Would you help me, break that down for me? So I'm asking for their help. I'm not blaming them.
I like that.
Yeah. And it's coming from a place of love. Hey, I just got triggered. Would you help me? Would you be kind enough and loving enough to honor me by helping me? So you're not blaming, you're asking for help. Who does that? You have to be patient. And one sentence here says, infinite patience produces immediate results. If you know that you're going to meet your compatible partner, be patient now because it will happen. Don't take the wrong bus.
Amen. No more wrong buses for this girl. And I hope nobody else is watching. This is the goal. This is the focus. Yes. Oh my gosh, Anil, thank you so much. I really appreciate your
No,
friendship.
thank
And
you. No,
I'm grateful for the time. And
no,
so
thank you. Thank you.
thank you, everyone. And definitely share this interview with someone I know if you're watching, you need it or you know someone who does. So share this thing because it's good. And subscribe, okay? And get connected. Definitely get connected and do that. All right. Thank you, everyone. See
Yeah.
you next time.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Jill.